Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. If you love mushrooms, you are going to love today's easy and delicious dinner recipe. We are going to be making the best creamy mushroom stew with smoky bacon bits. This is the ultimate comfort food and it's so great for those chilly winter nights. When I first made this recipe, my husband and I were just blown away with the richness of all these incredible flavors, the textures, the aroma. You are in for a real treat with this incredible stew. We'll start with not 2, not 3, but 4 varieties of mushrooms. I like to have lots of variety for texture and flavor. Then we'll make our beef stew with bacon bits, onions, celery, carrots, garlic, lots of fresh herbs, a touch of white wine. We'll finish the stew off with a little bit of cream, some potatoes, add those mushrooms. This stew is simply incredible. It is so incredibly rich and delicious. Head on down into that video description box for the recipe link. I'm going to have all the ingredients online, including metric measurements. Meanwhile, let me show you how to make this phenomenal recipe. Today we'll start the recipe with our mushrooms. We have 4 different varieties. We'll start with the most basic ones. I have 14 medium-sized, just regular white mushrooms. You just clean these with a little damp paper towel and slice them into nice large chunks. Next we have our chanterelle mushrooms, and these are my absolute favorite. I bought 2 8-ounce boxes of these, and I like to use like a little soft toothbrush to clean out all the dirt before slicing the mushrooms. Next up, I have a bowl of sliced shiitake mushrooms. I bought one of those like larger boxes from Costco. I believe it's about a pound, pound and a half. And then I have about a pound and a half of oyster mushrooms, and I just kind of slice these and section these into smaller pieces. Once you have your mushrooms cleaned and sliced, it's time to fry them, and I recommend frying each mushroom variety individually as they have different cooking times and different textures. I have my soup pot going here over medium-high heat. I'm also going to use a frying pan on my back burner just to speed things up since there are 4 varieties of mushrooms. And I wanted to share a quick mushroom frying tip with you today. You want to start with a hot pan that's clean and dry, so no butter and no oil. Add the mushrooms in and then fry them, letting all the water or liquid kind of evaporate, and then you could season with a little bit of salt, add in some butter, and then fry until the mushrooms are golden and crispy. You are going to get the best tasting and crispiest mushrooms every time with this method. Let's start with our basic white mushrooms. And you can see the mushrooms have started to release all the liquid, so just keep frying them at this point with no butter and no salt until all that moisture has evaporated. Give them a toss every once in a while. And then when the liquids have evaporated and you notice the mushrooms are more dry, season them with a little bit of salt. I like to use some sea salt, and add in a couple teaspoons of butter. Let that butter melt and then fry until the mushrooms are golden and crispy. And once the mushrooms are fried, take them out, set them into a bowl, and then add in the next batch. Let's do our shiitake mushrooms next. Set aside the fried mushrooms for now, and into the same soup pot we're going to add about a tablespoon of butter and add in 8 slices of diced bacon. Render the bacon down for a couple minutes. Next, add in 1 large diced sweet onion, 3 medium chopped carrots, and 2 large chopped celery sticks. Toss this all together and then cook for about 8 to 10 minutes until the onion is translucent and tender. Next, add in 8 minced garlic cloves, 1 tablespoon of fresh rosemary, 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Season with salt. I usually add about 1.5 teaspoons, and ground black pepper. Toss this all together and cook for 1 minute. Next, we'll need 1 cup of dry white wine. I like to use Chardonnay for this recipe. And if you don't want to use alcohol in the recipe, you could substitute the white wine with a little bit of chicken broth instead. It's not going to have quite the same flavor, but at least you'll substitute the liquids. Pour that into the soup, and then we'll reduce this down for about 5 to 6 minutes until most of the liquid has evaporated. Once most of that wine has evaporated, drop in 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. It's going to help thicken our stew. Make sure to toss that really well so you don't have any dry flour remaining, and cook this for about 1 minute. Next, add in 4 cups of chicken stock or chicken broth. Give that a stir and then return the mushrooms to the pot. I like to save some of the mushrooms for topping in a separate bowl. Mix this all together. This mushroom stew already smells so incredible. I love the aroma of all the fried mushrooms, the bacon bits, adds this really nice smoky aroma to the stew. I'm going to bring this up to a boil over a medium-high heat, and then once it's boiling, just cover it with the lid, reduce the heat down to a low, and let it slowly simmer away for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then we'll come back to add our potatoes, cream, and finish off the stew. While the stew is simmering away, peel and cube about 5 medium-sized Yukon Gold potatoes. After 30 to 40 minutes of simmering, add the potatoes right in. And you want to get them submerged underneath the liquid, so kind of press them down. And if your stew becomes too thick, you can add more chicken broth. I'm just going to let these potatoes simmer away for about 20 minutes until they are fork tender. Once the potatoes are soft and cooked, sprinkle in a couple tablespoons of freshly chopped parsley. And if you like dill, you can also add some fresh dill. And we'll pour in 1 cup of half and half. If you want a super rich stew, you can also pour in some heavy cream. And then just give this all a stir. Once you add in that heavy cream, heat it for just a minute or 2 until the soup comes back up to a low simmer, and then this stew is ready to be enjoyed. The stew smells so good. I can't wait to enjoy some. I'll ladle some out. I love the consistency of this stew as well. It's really nice and thick. Grab some of the potatoes, lots of those mushrooms. I like to top the stew off with some of the fried mushrooms. I reserve these instead of adding all the mushrooms, and you can just add them right on top. Looks so pretty. Sprinkle on some fresh parsley, and voila! I wish you could smell the aroma of this incredible creamy mushroom stew through your screens right now. It is simply mouth-watering. I love that smoky bacon flavor, and there's something so special about a creamy stew on the stovetop. I can't wait for you to try this recipe. Let's dig in to enjoy. I love having the extra crispy mushrooms on the top. It just makes the stew look extra pretty. Scoop in, grab lots of the mushrooms, that creamy stew. This is to die for. Super rich, extra creamy, so much incredible flavor. I love having the combination of all these mushrooms. Then you have this incredible smoky flavor from the bacon and the smoked paprika. You're going to be in food heaven with this one. You run to make it. The This mushroom stew is the definition of comfort food. This is going to be so perfect on a cold, windy, and wintry day. Head on down into the video description box for the recipe link. I'm going to have all the ingredients online. Thank you so much for watching my latest episode. I hope you enjoyed this incredible stew at home. And I think even people who don't typically enjoy mushrooms are going to love this. I'll see you next time with a new recipe.